A wonderful good day to Real Talk. My name is Gaby Burt. I'm International Director for the Journey and have been with the Journey and Brandon base for over 25 years now. This particular program, Real Talk, was created to kind of make journey work more real or more accessible and let people know what kind of things we can address with it, what it does, what it is for. And specifically, as we've entered into a time that brings so many challenges to so many people, we just wanted to shout a little bit louder, letting people know how amazing this work is, how powerful it is, and really wanted to make it possible to be available in more households for more people to use it, because people like myself and so many of my colleagues around the world have made journey tools and journey work part of our life. We use it, we live it. We don't do a process every day, but we kind of live in the consciousness of being present, of everything that the journey offers and does. And obviously journey process work is an integral part of that. And we've also, for the first time ever in the 27 years that we've offered this work, we are now completely online. So Journey Intensive, the entry-level workshops are online. And in order to make the work available to more people, we've also, especially for the remainder of this year, have created a tremendous, huge discount so that it's easier for everyone. So it's the 70% discount that we're offering is actually available on the information page that we have created. So if you feel like there is something in your life that needs addressing, healing, letting go of, the journey is the perfect tool to do that with. And today is a very, very different subject and theme. And we wanted to talk about abundance. We actually wanted to talk, or I wanted to talk abundance, because not only do we face challenges, but there is always an area in life that we want to achieve, have, or dream of. And there is a particular retreat that Brandon has created, and it's called the Abundance Retreat. And in that, we can put out for what we want in life. Now, this is not about money. This is not about, I want a better car, this, that, or the other. It's actually letting go of our deepest kind of self-worth issues, or issues that we have taken on board from when we were very, very small. The I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I will never, ever do that. So these kind of issues. And I wanted to invite a dear, dear friend and colleague of mine. Her name is Laurie Collins. And she is, hi, Laurie, good evening to you and good morning from me. But you are such a perfect person to talk about abundance. We have known each other, well, actually, pre-journey. You were very little then. So a great many years. But in your early 20s, you came to the journey and you actually worked for the journey, for Brandon, for
you
many years. Many years, I think 12 or 13 years, and then you found the man, your dream date, the man in your life, and have two beautiful children, and then your focus needed to return to your family, and so I think you left the journey, or well, you have never left the journey really. Some 12 years ago or so. And but some of the stories that I remember about abundance are very much related to you. And it's not only that, but you also, that you're such a beautiful manifester. And, we can also talk a little bit about how that plays out in life today. I mean, we did these workshops 20 plus years ago, and yet it's still, I know. and nothing has changed, but we just, you're a beautiful representation of that. And I just wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about maybe even your time at the journey, of what the journey has meant to you, and then maybe segue into abundance a little bit. That would be lovely.
Thank you. Lovely to be here, and especially be with you chatting. Always so fun. It's not normally we're just face to face over a coffee table or something, not on a computer. I'm loving it. Love it. Love it. Well, it's interesting. I could talk from the beginning, but I'd love to share that when you were talking and you were giving your intro about the abundance and talking about that topic and our beliefs of what's in there, whether it's low self-esteem or blocks that we've had to creating abundance, it really brought to me this time we've been living in, which has been, very different for everyone around the world. And we've all had very different experiences of the last 2.5 years. Yet I have met and meeting many people now that are saying the way I used to live or the way I operated isn't the way I want to operate anymore. Yeah. And therefore, they're looking to create the life that they feel they were born to live. Not necessarily be on the rat wheel or not necessarily, have a very stressful life, but then how do we create that and come from that place that is that deeper place that the journey takes us to so beautifully? How do we truly live our heart's intention? How do we truly live what life intended for us, or how we co-create together, rather than this idea of what we think we should be doing or the way life should be played out. And so it's a wonderful time to be doing abundance work and to be looking at these issues, because I, as you know, but I'd share with you, I came to the journey actually at that kind of point in my life where I was in London working at an advertising agency, getting up, doing, it was wine and dine clients. Sometimes I'd be at the pub at 11 o'clock in the morning till late at night. And even though, funnily enough, I manifested this job at an abundance retreat, which you were at, and I was fresh out of university, and I put out, just like Brandon tells us, and write everything down of what we wanted in our life, and my focus was very much my career and my first career of what I wanted. And just like that, I landed this dream job. However, what I was talking to you about was that dream job came with consequences of, Coke in the boardroom, drinking till late at night. You were indispensable. So you had so many people knocking on the door for jobs that you just felt like, well, they'd get rid of you if you didn't do what they asked you to do. And it ended up, I felt like I became in a hole of low self-esteem that I didn't even believe that I had any true value to offer in a career. So, then I started to reassess and go, what is it I want? And through another journey, like Brandon pointed out to me, you forgot to ask for a conscious company, a company that would lift you up, that would, flourish you, and so I went about making a massive lifestyle change, and using the abundance tools and the journey tools to really get in touch into what that was deep inside. And the amazing thing about this work, as you know, that if we could think what the picture of this life was going to look like, if we actually limited ourselves to our own vision, we would stay very small. But with the beautiful tools of the journey and what I've learned over the years is this presence, this life has so much more in store for all of us than we can even imagine. And we cannot create that picture with our mind. And that's why we need tools like the journey and the abundance work, because it helps us to tap in and co-create with life to get to the essence. And when we get to the essence and we use the tools, some of the tools that Brandon teaches us, like getting out of the way and, saying yes and being a shark in water, all these different wonderful tools that you'll learn by doing the work, that I could not in a million years, if we go back, 18, 20 years ago, whatever that was, I couldn't have created this life that I have now with my own mind. It's far beyond that, and it's far more wondrous, far more magnificent, far more abundant than I could have ever dreamed of. And for that, I'm truly, truly grateful that the journey and the skills and the tools and the retreats have given me the way to live life from a place of, I don't know how you experience this, Gaby, a place of, it's like, I'm trying to find the right word. It's like you're co-creating with life. Like life will move me now. And I know how to listen deeply. And even when I think, no, that can't be right, but I can listen and I can move from that place of, well, everything inside me is saying yes. So none of this makes sense. I'll still move forward. And then these doors start to open and this life starts to create itself. And you go, wow, how I never ever would have opened that door if I never had these skills. Yeah.
It's so true, Laurie, because it's your start when you started talking and you referred to the last 2.5 years. I actually we just put something out to our community because about a month or 2 months ago I read an article that during this time of COVID and lockdown and everything that's happened around the world, about 40% of working people are in the process of changing career or have changed career already because we've had time to stop. I think for the first time in many people's lives, there's been you need to stay at home. You can't come to work. You can't go to work. A lot of people were furloughed. I personally have worked from on the road for many years, so that didn't apply to me personally. But it really made me think, because I thought, well, if this is the case, I would love for people to, especially if there are so many people out there starting afresh, to really be able to clear all of the things that stand in the way, that where we, as you said, where we, if we could only create what we can think of, we'd stay very, very small. But what if we could throw out all of our old beliefs, all of, as Brandon calls it, the silent saboteurs, and actually not think big, but bring into life what it is we're meant to do, what we're meant to show up as. And through journey work and through having been part of the journey for so many years, I have seen the most amazing things, and so have you. But it is exactly like that. And so it's a very, very interesting time we're living in.
Well, I think you could even share, because I witnessed you as someone who is on the road nonstop, along with Brandon and many of the team, constantly moving, constantly from country to venue to, some days you don't know if it's morning or night because you're just moving so much. And then you stopped.
I know. And
I think, what was that? What came from that for you? Because you would have undergone, as I have, we've all undergone this, because life is asking something else.
Yeah. It's I think what really happened with COVID and all of us is something that I don't think any of us could have envisioned. Well, we probably dreamed of it, but we we didn't think it possible, because converting audience from real life seminars, having done and offered real life seminars for 25 years up until then, and going online is impossible. You know, I mean, you could slowly, gently, which we have been doing. But the uptake was like, no, I'd rather come to a seminar. No, I'd rather do this. And then all of a sudden, everything stopped. In 2.5 years, I have traveled 3 times. I have been to the UK for 1 week to visit my husband's family. I have been to Austria for 1 week for skiing, and that was only just a couple of months ago, and visit my family. And in the first, that was 20 to 21 Christmas in the we actually went to Dubai for 2 weeks, because that was about the only country where you could go to and actually go to a restaurant or go shopping, because we were in complete lockdown here in Greece. And so, but the body is, I think our health levels have changed by not traveling so much. I mean, the carbon footprint that we all created by whizzing around the world and making our delegates, our participants travel, and that all has, you know, if everybody has changed, it does make a difference. I'm absolutely sure. So yes, there must have been a prayer, but my prayers are always not quite so specific, but very, very simple, and gratitude goes with it every day. You know, as you know, I mean, Laurie, you can see, for those of you who are watching, Laurie is wearing a roll neck sweater. I'm sleeveless, so there is the Southern Hemisphere. Laurie is sitting in Byron Bay in Australia, one of our favorite places in Australia. I'm sitting in Greece, a place that I never thought I would call home, but since COVID, thank you very much, I do. And not a day goes by where I don't wake up and I'm just grateful for the magnificence of life. And I truly couldn't have imagined. I couldn't have said, I want to live in Greece, I want to do this. It kind of, my prayer is for authenticity, for being real, for being truthful, for being happy, for being healthy, all of that. And then life kind of, you know, offers you this, that, and the next, you know. So
and that's what you're talking about, which is so beautiful, which is about living this abundance.
yeah,
Because when we're living it, once we've cleared out these a lot of these low self-esteem patterns, or things that have put the limitingness around us, now when we can clear that out, which the abundance retreats do, and you and I have done many abundance processes over the years to help do that, but then we start to naturally operate from a place of limitlessness. So when it was like, well, the journey is going to go online, I mean, like you, I was like, no way, that can't happen. But yet limitlessness is here. We start stepping forward, 1 event, 2 events, and it's because you're saying yes. Like we're able to say yes. We're not cutting it down and saying no. We're going, okay, show us what's next, you know. And I think you so eloquently, so beautifully, like you say, you don't have this single focused prayer, but it's more about living abundance. And this is the gratitude, I think, after you've done your first retreat and you do it again and again and again, that you do come to this place. Like I can really hear what you're saying, and that gratitude and life just starts bringing you opportunities. I think the idea that we don't have opportunities is it's such a false notion, because in my experience, life is bringing you opportunities every day, and it's our ability to listen deeply and move forward and say yes from this limitless place.
You know, as I'm listening to you, Laurie, I'm just being reminded of a story, and I should also kind of put a little preamble in, because over COVID, Brandon and her husband Kevin had actually the intention to move to Australia, and there was a visa application in. And because of COVID, so many things changed everywhere around the globe in people's lives. And the application process completely changed. And where some things that should take normally between 2 and 3 months, maximum 5 months, all of a sudden became 2 to 3 years. And in the end, Kevin, when that really became obvious, they decided that, okay, now is not the time for Australia. We actually stay here. We stay in Greece. And once that decision was made, and Brandon and Kevin obviously living in that same stream of yes to life, what now? And a year later, that decision was made almost exactly a year ago. And so subsequently, Kevin Brandon have a beautiful home now, which they're renting, but also there's a project on the plans, which is a new home for them, and a satsang hall, a place where, and it was, that wasn't even a prayer. That wasn't even, can we please have a satsang hall? Can we please have something? It was given, it came, a beautiful plot of land came, and the opportunity arose. And so there's a project in the planning right now. It's not quite, what do you say? It's not quite done yet. Yeah, it's in planning stages, but it's like, and it showed up in meditation. Brandon, it was already happening, and Brandon saw it in meditation, and it's like, wow, we hadn't even thought about that,
See, I think that's exactly what you're saying. That perfect example of their mind was set on Australia. Everything. And it was like, we're going here, we're going here, we're going here. Now, to most people, that's not a limiting belief, and it's not, but it was maybe a little bit tunnel vision. Like, that's my intent. I'm doing that. We're doing this. And life just went roadblock, 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 roadblock. And still like, no, surely. Why? But what they've learned, and what they teach us, and what we've learned is like, okay, when things are effortful, that's not it. Stop and see what happens. And as soon as they did that, as soon as they just went, whoa, what is going on here? And turned just this way, life just went, this is what we want for you. and how often, how often that happens, that on a daily basis, like something like even today, it was like roadblock. Things weren't working out. And I was like, and I even had the thought, oh, great, I'm about to speak about abundance. And I've been sitting on the phone to actually immigration for 2 hours going, God, what is going on here? And then it was a shift in perspective of something that I needed to do around my citizenship. And as soon as I went, okay, that's not what I want to do, but I'll do it. Something was being asked of me, but I had another idea around it. As soon as I turned and went, yes, it's all just opened again. And these are the principles we're talking about, abundance, that they seem easy, they seem nothing, but we learn them, and we learn to live our life being guided and watching for these signs of knowing when we're in flow and when we're not in flow. And I think, a great example of that as well, Gaby, is, when I put out finally for the man of my dreams. Now, you may remember I'd kind of got the job, and I was now working for the Journey, actually. And I mean, like I said, my life, I was getting paid for something that I do for free. I was traveling. I felt so abundant in my life. And the only thing that was missing was the man. But, I don't know how many abundance retreats I went out and I put out for the man, and the man never showed up. And so I was like, I actually turned up to one abundance retreat, and anyone listening to this, please excuse me, but I was rather pissed off. And actually turned and went, this is a load of turd. And this is a load of it, and it's full of it. And it doesn't matter if the universe doesn't want it for you. If it's not meant to be, then that's it. You're just going to have to suck it up, you know? And I don't, you know, I had years asked, but I was asking for things like a tantric lover, you know, a boyfriend, this and that. And I actually took that anger into my journey process, this kind of pissed offness, going, you know, this is a crock. I was looking at Brandon going, crock, it's all bollocks. And then I was like, whoa, you're being triggered. What's going on? And my friend, one of the therapists, took me into the room, and I was like, I need to face this, because I know that this works. I know this stuff works, and what's going on here? And so she took me in through a process where I was able to meet my anger, and I was able to meet everything that was there. And I was suddenly asked in this process, like, have you truly put out for what you want? Have you truly asked? And when I was asked that question, there was a part of me that realized I wanted it. I really wanted it. Like, but back here it was going, no. I'm too scared. I'm too scared for that, you know? And I had never met, because all I ever felt was how much I wanted it. I never felt how much that intimacy and what that would mean in my life, and how scared I truly was. And so then when I was able to meet that, and then stand there fully and really, yes, to the universe, this is what I want. And when we did that visioning, or what it looked like, all I could feel was this sense of the seed of family. It was the seed of family. Now because I'd had a childhood where divorce was there, I'd always said I didn't want kids. But it was like all my secret wishes in this one process were almost allowed to come out. And I could feel that the person I wanted to manifest in my life was someone who we could grow a family with, and that it became about family and a family man. And even at that time, at the exact same time, it was, I could see a home, because I was renting a one bedroom in Byron Bay, and I could see a home, and I had no means to have a home, but in terms of deposits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I could see a home, I could see where, and it was where the seed of family would happen. And so I cleared these issues, and I kid you not, within 1 week of that process, one of the ladies or two of the ladies that used to work with us, had met this gentleman who one of them knew from 20 years ago, and he'd come up from Sydney, and he'd come to their meditation group, and they really thought I should go out to dinner with him. And I was like, what? No way. I'm not going out with a friend of yours from Sydney. Like, what are you thinking? And they're like, no, we'll just go out to dinner. And I was like, nah, and I walked out the door. And then that night I get a phone call, or the next day I get a phone call saying, I booked a table just for the four of us. He'd love to meet you if you'd like to come. And I was like, no way. But I got my big girl boots on, and I was like, okay, I was feeling all my fears, and went along to this blind date dinner of this guy along with the people I worked with, and met this man. And 9 months later, we were married. And that was 16 years ago, or whatever it is, 15 years ago.
2007 you got married, didn't you?
But we met in 2006. So yeah.
Yeah.
So 15, wow. 16 years ago.
Wow.
And that began that journey of family. And at the same time, in the same journey process, I came out of that retreat and I thought, okay, what can I do? I can't ever put a deposit down on a house or anything. So I called my dad and I was like, do you want to go on a business deal together? Let's look at this as a business transaction, business deal. Would you go into business with me? And if we would, I don't have the money for a deposit, but would you be able to put a deposit up for something and I would pay along? And then if we ever sold it, I'd give you the deposit back and we'd split the profits. Kind of, that was the way I approached it. And he said he would. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, I never thought my dad would do that. Like, he's never really contributed to anything in my life with along those ways. So then I started to look, and a friend said, oh, I know someone, and these breadcrumbs all started to fall into place. And the price was like, it was like 60,000 over what I could afford. And I said to the man, I'm really sorry. I only have this much. And that's all I have. And he said, well, we've already got people looking to make an offer, like 40 or 50,000 more than what you've offered. And I was devastated, but I was just like, okay. And I let it go. And okay, where else? And I start looking around for something else. And a week later, he called me up and he said, is the offer still on the table? And I said, yes. And he asked me if I could afford anything else, any more. And I was like, I said, well, I'll call you back. I offered him 5,000 more. Which was still like 60,000, like literally 55,000 under the asking price and about 50,000 less than the offer he had the week before. And he took it. And I got my first home. And that was all from the same retreat. And wow. Hence where the seed of family began with my new man and my husband and the beginnings of our family life. So yes, the power of abundance.
Well, we had the privilege of witnessing all of that with you over the years, and it's been an absolute true joy to see you flourish in such a way. I mean, I remember when you, even the house that you're living in right now in Australia, I remember that was something else that
kind of whole other
fell in your lap, and and it was like, wow. And it's like you said it, you would not dare to put something like that out. And I actually remembered a story that happened very recently to me, which is how abundance and what it can do to us, to our physical health. Because as you know, the project that's happening down the road with Brandon's house and the satsang hall, I'm very involved with that. Cliff and myself, we are part of that project too. And it's something that came totally unexpected. I didn't ask for it. It was like, here it is. Do you want it? And it's like, wow, yes, I do. And then I've started to have knee problems on and off for a good year. And, and I don't really like those esoteric, it's your leg, it's what do the knees do in the body and moving forward and this. And I didn't even think about it. So I did all the practical stuff and went to the doctor. And I did and it finally got to the point where I thought, hold on a minute, I haven't even done a physical journey yet. So I did a journey process. I asked my husband, I asked Cliff to do a process with me. It's about 2 or 3 months ago, because we went skiing in April and I was totally okay. And it was just before then. And we did a beautiful process and it was very, very complete. And then he said towards the end, he said, but there was nothing in there about the knees, So I said, well, let's kind of check it out and see what's stored in the knees. And and for those of you who are familiar with journey work, you would know what I mean when I said I did a physical journey and you have a vehicle where you go somewhere inside your body. This is not this is a kind of an internal introspection of, and sometimes it's certain parts of the body. And I really proactively wanted to go to my knees. And so it was, I had the option. So this journey started off with Mary and a donkey. And all of a sudden, when I wanted to go to my knees, I was all of a sudden transported into a Ferrari with shoulder straps. And my immediate thought process was, this is wrong. It's too much. And it's like, and what came out is it's too much. There was something in my upbringing, in my family, where even though we weren't religious, my father was a very humble man, and I would hear something like, the meek inherit the world, or it's okay, what we have is enough. So to have more than what you need is out of the question. And I get goosebumps just thinking about this process right now. It was so clear what showed up. It's like, this project and you in it, it's too much. And it was actually clearing that belief and saying yes to the greatness of everything, including us being part of that. And my knees haven't given me a tiny little jip since then. So this is what silent saboteurs, or our upbringing, and we are not aware of it. We're actually physically, and I do journey work regularly, but I did not think that I had an issue at all or a limitation at all. So go figure, so.
And that's what is so beautiful about this work as well. It is just what you say is that it's life is here to be lived. It continues to be lived, and it's not like we've got it all sorted or everything's stones unturned, So just like that, life, like we were talking, opportunities come all the time, even when we're not even looking for them. And so here's this amazing opportunity, and it comes. You're not even looking for it. We're saying, and when it's like, yes, okay, because we know to say yes, and we're saying yes, but something back there's going, no, way too much. And then yours manifested physically, and we can clear that out. And I really get that as well. When we moved into this house, it was a similar. It was like, I know people who live there, but I'm not that type of person. I'm not the type of person that lives in it. And I don't know, I like those type of people that in that type of house, So then I was like, so that all has to be cleared out. And or not if you don't want to, but when you do, you just, there's just a freedom with everything. And it's just it's a joy and a gratitude and everything that then follows.
So true.
Follows all of that. And so there's beautiful lessons and teachings of, we don't even realize we're putting the lids on our lives.
We don't.
And even if we do, and this is our opportunity to clear those lids and let this life, we only have one life.
I know.
Life, and it's here to be lived. And I promise you, as you know, that life is to be lived, and it is to be flourished in whatever way that is meant to be. And I promise, in my experience, that's all that life wants for us, is to truly flourish, and to be a part of that, and to live this life, acknowledging that, and it's a gift. It's a true gift, and that's all of our invitation and opportunity through this work.
Yeah. And so thanks, Laurie. I just wanted to share that I can see some people, I can see who they are. And I'm noticing we have some Journey friends here watching us or being with us. We actually have this coming weekend, we've got abundance retreats happening on the European time zone and also on the Australian time zone. If you want to join, if you have done this work before and you want to just reset and check and see if your vision is still up to date or on the latest, at the latest it could be.
Upgrade.
Yeah, perhaps you need an upgrade. And, come and reset. If you're a Journey practitioner and you want to come and be a trainer, please let our team know. And for those of you who are new, before you can go to the abundance retreat, you need to get to the Journey Intensive first of all. And we have really made it so accessible. We have actually, I don't know offhand the price in Aussie dollars, but in euros, it's available at the moment for 149 euros, which is crazy. We have never ever done that, but we really felt it's like if more people are supposed to have access to this work at a time when everybody is automatically holding on to the purse strings because petrol is getting more expensive, everything is getting more expensive. It's like 149 euros is like 4 people going out for dinner in most cases, So it is it's priceless. It's what we're getting out of this work is absolutely priceless. And if you know somebody, please share this video, share the landing page, share whatever. And I have been grateful to have come across Brandon and Journey work pretty much every day of my life. And that was back in 96. And my life changed entirely. Not so much on the outside. I'm still married to the same man that I was married then. We didn't have any major issues abundance-wise. And yet everything changed on the inside. I've become, don't have a word for it, but happy. I think happy is a word that everybody can understand. I have peace of mind, or I enjoy peace of mind. There is happiness, there is contentment, there is inner peace. And the friends we have around the world are the best friends. So it's a beautiful life. And I wish that more people would have access to that. And so that's part of the reason for creating this little real talk, which I'll do once a week. And I invite friends, mostly Journey friends from around the world to start with until I venture out into a little bit further afield. Who knows? But Laurie, thank you so much for joining us. If anybody here wants to know how to check the abundance retreat or get into the abundance retreat, write to support@thejourney.com, please. It's too much information to post. Support@thejourney.com, and all your answers, all your questions will be answered. Yes. Sorry. I just cut you short. Sorry.
No. I wasn't. I'm just reflecting actually on what you were saying and what it's brought for you. And I think this is fresh to say it like this, but it also has brought this integrity and alignment that every decision, every relationship, every business venture, every health decision, everything is in this truth here, and nothing goes against that. And so it's like living life from your heart, from truth and alignment and honesty, and that brings so much joy, love, peace, contentment, because you're just being you, fully you, in more ways than you can imagine.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining Laurie today. Please say hello to Brandon, and we will be seeing you very, very soon here in Greece. Woo!
You said you've only flown 3 countries in 2.5 years. I've been to no countries. I'm about to rip out of Australia, baby.
This is changing just now.
Yes.
Fantastic. Can't wait to see you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, and lots of love.
Thank you for inviting me. Lots of love to everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Bye. Bye.
Bye.